15 minutes of heat here for you on 790 The Ticket. Tobin and Leroy, we are taking you up until 10 o'clock this morning. It is a double game day. We got the Marlins taking on the Cubbies a little bit later on today as they look to punch their ticket to the next round. And then, of course, your Miami Heat back in action tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. When looks like the Heat are going to be quite shorthanded tonight with Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic both listed as doubtful. Means you're going to get probably a heap of Kendrick Nunn, a sprinkle of Kelly Olynyk. Maybe Myers Leonard comes out of hiding. Who knows? It's going to be it's going to need, as they say, Leroy, going to be a team effort. So we have enough.
We've seen this. We've seen this all year. It wasn't until we came back to the bubble that this team was at full strength.
Yeah, it's the Bam thing that worries me.
Right, because
I don't know. We don't know life without him.
What is the one thing you've said about Bam? Is that the guy doesn't miss games.
Doesn't miss games.
And so
tough as hell.
It's a part of sports, but you've never had to experience basketball without Bam.
And you don't really have a replacement for him. You have guys who are bigger, but you don't have guys who are bigger who facilitate, who defend the best player, who can be your best offensive player, who can do everything. You don't have it. Goran, I don't think it's not great going with life without Goran. Don't get me wrong; he's one of your all-stars, but I feel like you could piecemeal it somewhere together. Goran's not locking people down, so when you lose Goran, you're just losing a guy who could really take a burden away offensively. But they just closed the playoff game without Goran. You could live like I don't know what they're gonna do if they don't have Bam in this series. It's gonna take just a hell of an effort from everybody else, especially knowing that the two big guys you're bringing off the bench and not exactly defensive stalwarts.
I think they're gonna look like Houston.
Just bombs away, 6'4" guys.
Bombs away.
Whew. Let's hear a little bit from Jimmy Butler. This was him yesterday. Now, Jimmy Buckets, try not to cry when you hear this, okay? Because I got very emotional when I heard this.
That's his teammate. That's my teammate.
A little bit. That's my Gogi. Because that's how I felt. I wanted to go run and find Gogi. I wanted to run to Orlando, find Goran Dragic. I wanted to give him a hug. Give him a hug and a foot massage. And this is...
I want to give him a foot massage.
Is that bad? Would that not help?
Dude, don't touch it.
It hurts, bro. Let me just put it in bath salts. Here's Jimmy Butler yesterday at the Media Day press conference.
Yeah, I talk to G all the time. That's my guy. It's just tough to see him in this position because he cares about the game, cares about his teammates, and he really wants to win. Obviously, we want him out there with us. We know that. We need him. He's been huge for us in the playoffs all year long in the sense of doing whatever he was asked to do. Come off the bench, start, score, facilitate, whatever. But it's bigger than basketball. We care about him as a person and want him to be right. I can talk to him as much as I can, but you can hear that pain in his voice of him feeling like that he may have let us down, but he did not. And I want him to know that he's carried us to this point, and it's only our duty to pay that back to him right now.
My little Gogi's upset, Leroy. I don't want to have him have pain in his voice. He's Gogi. He's supposed to make us smile and score buckets. I don't want a sad Goran Dragic walking around. This crushes me.
Crushes everybody.
I want can we send him an edible arrangement or something? Can Jimmy give him some free coffee? Something?
Be careful with those edibles.
especially with Dion in the bubble. Oh my God. When I heard that yesterday, and you can tell Jimmy was like, I'm gonna be a big boy here, but this is some bro love.
Yeah, man. Look. They all you lost probably the two most important players on your team as far as the many different things and the many different roles that they play. Goran has been a team player in that he probably should have always been starting all year, but Spo wanted to preserve him for the playoffs.
Yep.
And then he moved to the starting, and he's just been unbelievable. Bam is the base in which you start. So whatever the Heat do, the first name you mention is, well, Bam. Whether it's facilitate, whether it's defensively, whether it's how we're going to do this, the first person that comes out of any game plan that you set up is Bam. What are we going to do with Bam?
And the thing that just sucks is you come this far and everything that you went through this year and the bubble and all that type of stuff, and you just want to do it with all your guys there, and I'm not looking for anybody to give the Heat sympathy because, look, we've been through a series where Greek Freak went down in the midst of a Heat series, even though they were up 3-0 already.
Oladipo was coming back from injury.
Yeah, it's just, now this is like you've gotten to the absolute end, and you already know that you're up against it as far as it goes with this team, and they've said it, you have to play perfect to beat them. But now it's like, well, you have to play perfect, and also like you have guys that probably need to play way above their head to beat them, and they would need to have an off night.
Have they not been doing it all year?
I don't know because we think people will say they did play above their head, but maybe it was just maybe we just watched a more talented team than people gave credit for.
Okay, then if that's the case, listen.
But you're taking away their 2 All-Stars, Leroy.
I know. Look, I'm not saying it doesn't suck. But what I'm saying is that you're going to have to see a lot more out of Tyler. Now, here's the kicker. There's a difference in looking at Tyler and going, that's a bonus when Tyler can come in and do that.
Yes.
Versus
having to rely on
Tyler, you got to do that. Right? There's a difference in Kendrick Nunn having the luxury of being a rookie and going through what he went through, because a lot of rookies do. Right? Now, you can't afford that. There's a difference in you being able to sit certain guys on the bench because, well, we have other guys that do that. We have all-stars that do that or whatever. You have them in here on this team, on this roster for certain reasons. And even though you never thought you would have to use them, you know the skills that they have and abilities that they have, and now you just got to rely on them.
Yeah, and it's not like they haven't played all year. Like, these are guys who have played significant roles for the Heat. Kelly Olynyk's played a significant role for the Heat at times.
Myers Leonard.
Kendrick Nunn, Myers Leonard. These guys have had significant roles with the Heat before. So, even though you're dropping them kind of cold into the playoffs, it's not like they shouldn't be so unfamiliar with everybody else. You're not just dropping them out of the sky. And it's just like, oh, hey, who's this?
Here's how you think of your team. You always look when a guy makes a big dunk or a big three to ice a game, right? And you look on the sideline and you see the air guitar guys, right? And you're like, oh, look at those guys. Now those guys got to play. And you're like, air guitar got to play.
Yep.
So, but like you said, of a lot of these teams that had to experience something like this, the Heat have been doing it all year. Now it's not the finals, and you're not playing you weren't playing the best of the best all the time, but this is what it is. So, like, I would just look, dunks. You get your rollerblades on, because it's gonna be rollerblade derby. You're gonna be all over the place. Get your arm ready. Get your legs ready. We shoot.
Robbie, let me get before we wrap 15 minutes of Heat up, let's hear Jimmy Butler on people who think that the Lakers are going to do that to them again. Jimmy Butler begs to differ.
I mean, I think they imposed their will, and they were just the tougher team. They played the style of basketball that they wanted to play. We got away from our type of basketball, and I think it definitely played into their hands. You talking about adversity. I mean, for us, we thrive in that. And I say it all the time. I mean, if you look at it, everybody probably thought they was going to do that to us anyways. They probably think they're going to do it to us 3 more times in a row. I beg to differ. Nobody picked us to be here. Like I said, we embrace it. We love it. But we know that we can win. We do. But we know that we got to play perfect, man. We know we can't not rebound and not get back. So coming into game 2, all the adversity, backs against the wall, yada, 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 we're going to win.
I like his demeanor, man. I dig Jimmy Butler. How he handled things, how he leads the team. But
that's you know what? That's you know what? Chalk that up.
I know that you don't ever see injury.
Hey, Rach.
Yeah.
Whoops.
What did Rach have to say?
I was getting sound, but
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I would say, like, this is who the Heat are, along with Jimmy. That's why it was a perfect fit.
Yep.
Because if you were asked Spo, right? Spo would say something similar to that. We got pushed around. They did what they wanted to do. And that's not who we are.
It was so great yesterday. I was watching the Spo press conference, and they literally just sent a tweet out right before it started. And so the guy asked him about the status, and Spo's just like, it's in the tweet. The guy's like, what tweet? I've been here. He goes, I don't even. And Spo boxes me, goes, I don't even have Twitter. I know what the news is. He goes, what? It's like, you're the coach. Of course you know. What do you mean, what? Boxed in. Sorry. You didn't get the news? You didn't get the memo? Hey, we don't talk. Hey, we don't talk about injuries. I don't know if you. Sorry, nice try though. I was surprised. I was shocked that somebody got out of him that the Bam injury was new. I was like, whoa, that's actually revelatory. Normally, when it comes to interviews in the Heat, injuries in the Heat, you're not getting nothing.
Right.
Anyway,
all
right.
Say this is a new injury.
Yeah, it's because he was dealing with the shoulder, and now apparently this is the neck.
Oh, okay. You know how muscles work. Dude, you know how muscles work. Stop.
The shoulder bone's connected to the neck.
All those muscles, man. All those muscles are connected. And so I give you a perfect example. Usually when somebody has back surgery,
yep,
the first thing that happens is they pull a hammy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
you should write a Leroy science children's book.
Science? Well, just you've been around it long enough. Like I remember when Joe Montana had back surgery? No. He had back surgery, played a game, pulled a hammy. Like what? It happens all the time, man. It's just your body like what do you think you can isolate one specific like
Well, I mean if you're Mark Jackson, he just says just tell your body not now. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
For example, I'll give you a perfect example. When you have an ankle injury and they tape that ankle up and then your ankle feels good and then you start having knee soreness, like you're just moving the pressure. So yeah, like shoulder and neck trap area, all that's connected.
Yeah, it starts at 2:00, gentlemen, with the Marlins and the Cubs. Game 2 after yesterday's game got postponed.
You know what picks up, Robbie?
Business.
Business.
That's right.
Business picks up today. Sixto Sanchez on the hill. Heat kicking ass in game 2. Thin reserves. Everyone out here. Big Nunions.
Wait.
Kelly Olynyk. The Hammer.
Is there any team that we've seen play with 8 guys better than the Heat? I mean, they've done it during the year.
A lot of teams go down to this road though.
It seemed like the Heat did it a lot.
No, when they were in the middle of the year, they were playing more like it was more like a straight up. They'd swap out almost 5 for 5 when it was regular season.
Okay,
but doesn't matter. Everyone here on this bench has done something to get us here. All right, there are no obstacles. Well, there are tons of them. The Lakers, but there are none. Okay. So you see LeBron, and he may seem like an obstacle, but he's not. There is no obstacles. There are no obstacles. No obstacles, Leroy. Anthony Davis, he may look like the biggest obstacle on the court, the most talented obstacle on the court, but he's not. Because why?
There are no obstacles.
There are no obstacles.
What about Danny Green?
Danny Green, he shoots 100% on threes against the Heat. May seem like an obstacle because there are no obstacles. There are tons of them, but there are none of them. That's what Pat Riley said. Hey. And if Pat Riley says it, so it shall be,
There's
so
no
it
obstacles.
is.
Well, there are tons of them, but there are none.
None. Kendrick, none. Kendrick, nunions.
You know what you sound like? A guy that don't have to play against them guys.
There are a ton of obstacles in this game, okay? You know, Rondo all of a sudden can shoot in the playoffs. Obstacle.
Isn't that crazy? Rondo making 2 threes.
All right? One of the Morris twins, I don't know who he is. He was hitting every jumper that he got. Obstacle. LeBron James. Team Petty. Watching film till 4:30. Obstacle. But there are none. There are tons of them, but there are none of them. And through the fire forged with the hammer and the anvil, Kendrick Nunn, baby goat, will shine through Jimmy Buckets. That is the NBA, not a bed of roses. Not a bed of roses.
Old quote, you know, character isn't made in a bed of roses and sunshine. Like steel, it's forged in fire in between a hammer and an anvil. Right now, we're between the hammer and the anvil. This is the NBA.
You think we've never been between the hammer and the anvil? Okay, were the Heat between the hammer and the anvil with 5 seconds left, and old Bricks McGee out there without his headband, bricked a 3-pointer, rebound Chris Bosh, kicks it out to Ray Allen, bang! It's tied. Obstacle, but there were none. There were none.
Those yellow ropes were an obstacle.
When LeBron James cramped up in Game 4, a pivotal swing game in the series, did Mario Chalmers see obstacles? No. There were a ton of them, but there were none. All right? When we were down 0-2, Game 3 of the finals, Dwayne Wade looked at Pat Riley and said, I ain't going out like this. Were there a ton of obstacles? Yes, but there were none. Dwayne Wade wouldn't let it be an obstacle. That's why there's no obstacles. Well, there are tons of them, but there are none, Leroy. When we were down in Game 6 to Charlotte, all right, and a fan wearing purple was jawing at D. Wade, were there obstacles? Well, not as many as tonight, but there were obstacles, and we came through. You must let it shine through. This is your game tonight, Miami Heat. Everyone's laughing at you. Jay Williams, all of a sudden he's an NBA expert, just waltzes off the set of College Game Day. You know he's a highfalutin Duke fan, probably salty that we got rid of Justice Winslow. He says you don't deserve to be here. His logic doesn't even make sense. Oh, we should do 1 through 16. Hey, dum-dum. The Heat beat the #1 overall seed. Don't know if you know that. That's how winning is done.
Are you done? Because you clearly, in football, we would call you a special teams guy.
Excuse me?
You go out there on the field for 5 seconds and get everybody pissed off, and then the real players go in the game and got to deal with it.
Myers Leonard, all right, I don't know if your foot works or not, but you remember when Terry Stotts took you out of the rotation, never to be seen again? Obstacles, but who showed up and was nailing shots for the Portland Trailblazers when nobody else was? On your team with Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, who was there? The Hammer, all right? Kelly Olynyk, who goes and breaks people's elbows better than anybody, all right? Now, you break elbows, you use a shooter's elbow. Kelly O, don't you know? Let's go. Derek Jones Jr., they said you were just a dunker. All right? Today, you're going to be like a squid out there. Arms and tentacles all over the place. You don't let LeBron get comfortable. That's why you had all those protein shakes after the game. You're big enough. You're big enough. This is Heat culture, all right? This is Heat culture tonight, Leroy. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. When they think our backs are against the wall, F that. We're out there. We got this. All right? You want to know why, Leroy? You want to know why? Because there's a reason, okay, that they are the hardest working, best conditioned, most professional, unselfish, toughest, meanest, nastiest team in the NBA. Because we're Miami Heat. We can't be beat. Can you feel the heat down in your soul? I feel the heat. They're in control. The heat is on. The heat is on. Highly be with you. Mag 7 is next.